And are you refreshed? Good. Now what? It's supposed to become fewer and fewer, yes? Apparently we've just stirred you up. Right here?
I'm happy to be here with my fellow travelers.
Breathe deeply and speak right into this so they can hear you.
Okay. My question is something you mention often is that the Source adores us and is unconditional love. And I find I don't do that for myself. And I feel it when I'm in alignment. So is there a way to sort of keep it present when sort of to help me, direct me?
So when you're in alignment, how do you feel?
Oh, incredible. I mean, it's...
So that's your preference?
Yes, absolutely.
So, can you explain to us why you don't just do that, just because it feels good?
I seem to be stubborn about that. I mean, I always find my way instead of...
But isn't it about making choices?
Yes.
So which feels better, bliss or stubborn?
Bliss.
So? Are you saying to us that mind control is hard?
It's, yes.
Impossible. Yeah. Mind control is hard because it's not even possible. You can't be in the middle of a thought and will yourself to another thought. Law of attraction doesn't let go of you that fast. If you find yourself in the middle of a thought that doesn't feel good, what do? Just flail about because it doesn't feel good?
I become a hamster. I just regurgitate and go back.
So it seems then that it's what you do before you get into that situation that is where your real power is. If you wait until you're in the middle of a negative thought and then you try to change it, it's slow going and it's hard and you're not good at it. No one is, because law of attraction is very powerful. So doesn't it seem prudent to do some preliminary things? When you wake up in the morning, you don't have thoughts raging.
Well, it seems that way sometimes, that I wake up and it's already there.
When you wake up in the morning, you don't have thoughts that are already raging.
Oh, really? So it comes quickly after I wake up then?
When you wake up in the morning, you don't have thoughts that are raging. Listen to yourself arguing for your limitation.
Exactly.
Yes, Abraham, when I wake up, my thoughts are raging. No, they're not. Yes, they are. 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 All right, have it your way. Have a stubborn, miserable day.
I'd rather, that's what I mean. I'd rather be loving and accepting and unconditional love for myself, by myself.
We know that. We know that that's what you want, but your habit of thought sometimes carries you somewhere else. And so let's just lay this out in a really logical way. If thinking about what I want attracts what I want, and thinking about what I don't want attracts what I don't want, which do you choose? Thinking about what I want. If thinking about what I want feels good because it harmonizes with my inner being, and thinking about its absence feels bad because it doesn't harmonize with my inner being, then I know I want to think about what I want. If law of attraction responds to the thought I've got going, and law of attraction logically just brings me more and more and more of the thought I've got going. And since there is no ending or bottom to any thought, whatever I'm thinking about, wanted or unwanted, is going to become more and more and more and more.
Yeah, it's like...
So, but what if there were a way that you could begin the direction of your thought, the reaching for a thought, the leaning toward a thought, or even the control of a thought? What if there were a way to reach for control of thought before it had gone so far in the direction of what you don't want? Well, there is. That's what we're saying. That's what meditation will give to you.
Even in meditation, I take on tangents and I end up out of it very easily.
If I can't control my thought once I get into a thought, because law of attraction is going to keep perpetuating the thought I'm in. And if I am incapable of quieting my mind, then is there any way that I can ever be a deliberate creator? Sadly, no. If none of these things work for you, then you will never be able to be a deliberate creator. Now, we know that you can do it, but if you don't know that you can do it, then you can't do it. So here we have finally found the unanswerable question. There's no hope. That's what a stubborn person will bring you. No hope. I'm so sure that I can't do this, that I will not let myself do this.
Yes. And that's where the love part comes on. I mean, it's
Next.
very critical.
We're hoping for easier questions and easier people. We're playing with you a little bit, but do you really believe that you can't quiet your mind?
No, because sometimes it happens and I create.
Then why did you just take us down that very painful path?
Because most of the time when I sit to do meditation, I just go and then suddenly it's waving back and forth all over the place. And
Does she remind you of you in any way? You're not even trying.
maybe I tried too hard.
Well, here's the reasoning that we're wanting to apply to this. It's harder to change a thought once it gets going, but it's easier to change a thought in the early stages before it gets going so hard. It's like the story that we've told for years about standing on top of the hill with your car in San Francisco, and you take the car out of gear and you release the brake and you decide you're just going to nudge it a little bit from behind and see what happens. And you're pretty sure what's going to happen because you know about gravity and you know about the hill, and that car is just going to end up down there in the bay. And so, but you decide you'll do it anyway. So you nudge it just a little bit. And then right before the inertia and the gravity and the natural laws of the universe get hold of it and move toward an outcome you really don't want, because it just barely got started, you just jump right out in front of it and you stop it. It didn't take much. It bumped right up against you and it stopped because the momentum hadn't taken it very far. But if you didn't come to your senses sooner and you're down at the bottom of the hill trying to stop it, you're not going to stop it. And so meditation is the top of the hill and mind control is at the bottom of the hill. And mind control will get you run over by your car. And meditation will give you control all day long. It's worth giving yourself just a little bit of permission to do that. Now, we're too far into the day to convince you now. Too much has gone on. You're more stubborn now than you would be when you first wake up. So when you first wake up, if we were standing in your physical shoes, that's when we would meditate. And even before we meditate, we might remember that sometimes I'm able to quiet my mind, and this very likely will be one of those times that I'm going to quiet my mind. In fact, even the night before, you might say, I'm going to take my negative self to bed, and while I sleep, momentum is going to subside a great deal. And when I wake up in the morning, I won't be my negative self like I am right now. I'll be lighter. And so the first thing when I wake up, I'll get something to drink and I'll go and I will meditate. And I will see what happens. And if you will do that, you will show yourself that you can quiet your mind. And if you quiet your mind, you will show yourself that thoughts will come into your mind. You'll be in the receiving mode of eventually really good impulses and ideas.
More preparation.
We're not really right now with you wanting to talk too much about preparation. That's how you got so stubborn. We want you to sneak up on yourself.
That's about right.
First thing in the morning before you realize it's you.
I'll surprise myself.
And sit to meditate and find out who you really are just for a minute. And then come out of it feeling so much better than you usually feel, and in the vicinity of more good feeling thoughts. And if you do that consistently, you will discover your power. You have a lot of power, and we're playing with you a little bit here.
Am I afraid of my power? That's the sense I have sometimes, like it's so vast and so
No, that's just
incredible.
something that you're making up to cover up for your negativity.
There you go. It feels better that way.
You are also creative. Abraham, Am I not utilizing the effective utilization of my mind because something else was meant to be? No, you're just lazy. Abraham, am I afraid that I'll get what I really want? No, you're just lazy. Abraham, is it possible for me to have anything that I want? Yes, but you have to let it in. Abraham, am I able to let it in? Yes, but you have to sneak up on yourself because you're not in the habit of letting it in.